Math 122. Let's look at week number 5 homework dealing with CPI and dealing with inflation. Downloaded the homework from course documents. You will see problem number 1 is talking about gasoline, 76 to 98. Convert the money, see which is more expensive, and so on and so forth. Step number 1, change the numbers. You know how I'm doing it. I'm going to solve it with these numbers. You'll apply it to the homework, 1980, 2001. Step number 2, make sure you have the right information to do the convert prices to deal with inflation. And those numbers are these ones right here called the CPI. Hopefully you know that stands for Consumer Price Index, and if not, well, you know it now. The other piece of information besides this table of numbers, which should be on the homework sheet, is this formula. That should be found in the lecture notes from the course documents as well. Alright, so we got some numbers in this formula that we got to dig out of the problem. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, identify my year A and B. And so if reading up here is talking about I want to solve 2001. So whatever I want to solve, this sort of the finishing year, if you will, that would be my B. My B is for the finishing year. What do I want to get to? 2001. So on the flip side, the year A is going to be the starting year. Where am I starting at? 1980. Those 2 years are in the problem. Year A starting, year B finishing. What I want to get to. With those numbers, now I got all the different component pieces of that formula. I got to get prices and I got to get CPIs for both of the years. Let's do them one at a time, right down the line. So price A is the beginning year. So price in 1980, right out of the problem. No tricks. Price in B is the finishing year. If you read the problem, it's saying that's my question mark. I don't know. I don't know what the price is in 2001. Question mark. We're going to solve that. CPI in A is the beginning year. A is the beginning year. Reading off the chart, 1980. 1980 is the beginning year, and 82.4. CPI in B is the finishing year, is 2001. Going up to the chart, I got 177.1. I've got all my numbers in place. Well, except for price B, but we're going to solve that in a second. So we're now done with these years. We can get rid of those. Let's take those 3 numbers I do have, and let's put them into that formula. First piece is the price A, so that goes in the front. Next piece is the CPI that for A, and that goes on the bottom of my formula. You'll see the A is in the bottom. Last piece is CPI and B, and you can see that goes on top of the formula. Right there. That's a calculator problem. Multiply, fraction means divide, so you'd multiply, divide by 82. You get this number. Okay, that is the correct answer, but let's make sure we keep in track of what we're trying to solve. We were trying to solve the cost in 2001. Cost is money. Put the dollar sign, dress it up, so to speak. And now we can conclude that we expected, according to that formula, we expected in 2001 it cost $2.21. Okay. If you read the problem, it says, well, actually it cost $1.39. So what's going on here? In 2001, gasoline was actually cheaper. If you look at those 2 numbers, actually it was cheaper in 2001. What's that mean on the flip side? It means that it was more expensive in 1980. And you can read that question, or that helps us answer the question in the word problem up here. Apply that to the previous problem in the 1976 and also that sort of thing, and you should be on your right track. Let's look at another problem from that homework. Talking about a raise, 72,000, and should get a raise from 4 years ago. Let's change the numbers. 2,000 to, okay, so now it's 7 years she hadn't gotten a raise. Let's do the inflation rate. Once again, if you go into the lecture notes, there is a formula for inflation rate. And one thing you'll notice about inflation rate is, if you look at that formula for inflation rate, it's talking about CPI. It is not talking about money. It is talking about CPI. We don't use that number. What do we need? We need the CPI numbers from 97, and we need the CPI number from 2004. Where are we going to get those? Well, I think you know where I'm going with this. You need the chart. I'm not pulling the chart up on my little screen, so I'll let you double check that. 1997, there's your CPI. 2004, there's your CPI. And we're going to take those numbers, put them right into the formula, and let the calculator run away with it. By the way, this is the percentage number. 2 things I want to make sure you know about this answer. Number 1 is, when you are calculating this on your calculator, make sure you solve this top number first. Like, do the subtraction, hit enter, and then divide by the 160.5. Some people just go try and type everything in and it comes up a little different. And the other thing is, hopefully you know how to get a percentage from a decimal. Something about moving the dots. We've talked about that before. Get questions, you can let me know. All right. If you follow this procedure for number 3 in the homework, you'll have the inflation rate. No problem. But then part B is saying something about, hey, I want to raise. Use this percentage. Now, guess what? we know we have a percentage, and we know how much she used to make. Let's bring that number into the mix again. So you see, we didn't use the money for the part A, but part B it's going to show up. So we have a 17% raise, and well, if she was making that much money, what's a 17% raise? That's a simple math question. And here's a little math teacher secret. Whenever you see the word of in a math problem, 9 times out of 10, it's going to mean a multiply. So I got my multiply right here. And actually, I was talking about moving the decimal dot. Same thing here. You're going to have to move the decimal dot in order to do this multiplication. You can't just do 17 times 64,000. It'd be a $1 million answer. No one's getting $1 million raise here. So we're going to move the decimal dot, let the calculator run away with it, and say, hey, guess what? That's how much of a raise she should be getting. Those are the general ideas. Hopefully you'll apply them to the CPI and the inflation homework for week number 5, and I will get you back some feedback for week number 4 coming soon.